we are back, and we have another episode of Which Was Best, and we are doing comic book movie trilogies. Okay, so who do y'all don't know? Basically, we're gonna make a case for whichever one that we have, which we already did all the picking and everything like that beforehand, and who goes first. All that stuff's been cemented, and each person has 5 minutes to make their case for the entire trilogy that you have.
I've only seen one movie this guy.
Well, then you'd be good. You alright?
Maybe 2.
I mean, well, then you're 2/3 of the way there.
Maybe 2.
You better be looking some stuff up while he's talking.
You
Your 5 minutes.
You have 5 minutes.
So we're gonna get started. Phil goes first. I go second, and Jose
10 minutes.
is.
Oh, that's the opposite of last time.
Yep.
Ooh.
So.
Yeah, I went first last time.
Hey, remember, you guys are gonna be the judge. You're gonna make your cases down in the comment section for whoever presented theirs the best.
And here we go.
So, Phil,
That just means I'm gonna win again.
go. You lost last time.
Oh snap! All right, so I got Batman.
Damn
Of
it.
course. Hey, look, just like last time, baby. And
like
time
that
is going,
one,
so I got a lot less time. So the best thing that I liked about Batman is they finally did it right. If y'all have seen any of the older Batmans, if you're an older person or you're a millennial who just kind of likes older movies, you've seen all the previous Batman. They pretty much suck compared to this one. Like, they don't even exist compared to this one. Even the show, all that, it was kind of good for its time, but like a year later, it was corny as hell. This Batman, they covered a lot of stuff. They covered his origin. They covered why he was the way he was. They covered a lot of stuff. They show stuff that you don't normally see, and basically this is the stuff that kind of built up the idea of Batman. It made it to where it almost like showed you on a case-by-case basis of why people are actually deathly afraid of Batman out of everybody in DC as far as heroes. And with the first one, they actually went into, the League of Shadows, the role they played. They went into the fact that they wanted him to lead, and he basically like rose to the top. Another story of like a white dude coming in there in Tokyo drifting everybody. Just straight up the best out of like, people who've been doing it their whole life for generations. Family been doing it. Anyways, he's Batman. Like that's the reason why he overcame all that. Like, second one further cemented the fact that he earned that title. Dark Knight, all kind of stuff was going on. He still kind of remained himself. And all 3 of them, he didn't break that one rule. But in the second one, which to me, I feel like was the best one, because he met his intellectual rival. A lot of people don't know, him and Joker actually used to throw hands. And they, like, Joker ain't no joke. Literally. Ha, pun intended. But the reason why Joker messes with him is because not only is Joker like insane and demented, but he's like a freaking genius, and he's the only one that like actually beats Batman in mind games. Like Edward Nygma can't do it. Like all these people, all these people who try to play mind games with Batman, he looks at them like, y'all are kids. You don't even matter. You suck. Go home. Try again tomorrow. Joker, he's like, what are you up to? I'll never tell. And then the stuff starts blowing up. He don't care. Like win, lose, or draw, Joker don't care. That's what makes him so deadly. And I'm glad they introduced him earlier on, because that's kind of where he was as far as the comics are concerned. Way in the beginning, the Silver Age, Gold, whichever one, Bronze, I don't know. The beginning. Crap. Losing time. Third one. They introduced Bane, which is as far as physically, he's the Goliath that doesn't always go down with the slingshot. because he was the if I'm not mistaken, the only person to break Batman physically.
Break the bat.
I shall break you, Gotham. My weakness, really strong people. Superroids. No, but I liked the only thing I didn't like about that one. The only reason why that one gets put behind Dark Knight is because Bane is actually a freaking genius. When they set everything up and made it seem like he was like 10 steps ahead of Batman, that's kind of what it should have been. Instead of like the last 15 minutes, oh no, who's this random chick? Oh, it was your plan, so you're a lackey. He's never been a lackey, 1. 2, he doesn't really do a lot of joining. And 3, he actually, it would have been better if he was responsible for that because it would have made more sense. But the way that they showed like a lot of development of the characters in such a short amount of time, introduced the fact that they had they presented a serious problem and a threat to Batman, his way of his ideals and his way of life and his life in general, like made this trilogy the best trilogy ever. And that ended too soon. Okay, now ever.
5 minutes is up.
That was it's like speed dating.
Do I have to talk the whole 5 minutes?
No, you can be quiet.
You can be
just don't
quiet.
get no likes.
Yeah, you
Nice.
just you're gonna
You be like the last 5 minutes. It was because of this. Oh, you better drop some knowledge. Your turn. God.
All right, I have Blade.
Ooh.
This is gonna be difficult to do because I have to completely wash the second one. All right, so the reason why Blade Trilogy is better than theirs is because 1, it's one of the earliest ones of a actual Marvel comic hero / anti-hero kinda. He wasn't really just like a good guy, but and he was one of the first ones. So before all this hype, before all that was going down, it came down to this vampire hunter. Now they did it that way because vampires was hot at that time. But the reason why the first one was so good is not only is he the type of person who's just trying to extinguish the problem, which is the vampires themselves, but it also goes into the psychological side of vampires knowing they have a predator on them and try and find ways to survive and to evolve to become stronger. That's what the whole Frost thing was when he cut him and he came back. You know what I'm saying? It also showed how they used their tactics to actually be out in the sunlight by wearing the makeup and things like that. It showed you a different side of the vampires who are normally the predators, but now they're actually the prey because there's something else that was created. And it also showed how cold-blooded he was, because even when his mama showed back up, well, he killed her too. Okay? Now, second movie, the only thing good about that movie was Donnie Yen was in it, and the fact that he did that one little, when they were fighting that vampire parasite thing, whatever he was, he did that little hand move that like gets your attention and then uppercutted him into the wall. That's the only thing that mattered. Now, the third movie, third movie, here we go. The third movie was good because it showed how the vampires had already begun this plot and mixing in with the humans and working with the humans to finally eliminate their predator. So you start off with him being set up by them sacrificing a human, one of their familiars, to set him up for murder. They already had the cops waiting on the entire situation, and then he ends up in jail. Then you come into the team of Deadpool and Jessica Alba. I mean, not Jessica Alba.
Jessica Biel.
Jessica Biel. Sorry, Jessica Biel.
That was my baby back then.
We get into that team. Now, of course, Deadpool was doing his comic thing. You know what I'm saying? Keeping things funny, so forth and so on.
He couldn't have the swords due to trademark.
Due to trademark purposes, he couldn't keep his swords. But it goes into how desperate they were to get rid of the Predator, because not only did they go into trying to set him up so they can get their hands on him and kill him, they even resurrected what they would call, like, he was like the first vampire or whatever. The Atom. Dracula. And he was resistant to sunlight. But the coolest part about them bringing him into the scene was his old time mentality of what a vampire and a predator was didn't mesh well with the new time, with the newer thought process of what a vampire was. Like when he went in that store and saw all them toys and all that type of crap, and he was talking about even the people that brought him back didn't have no honor, you know what I'm saying, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
To the point, to that point to where it was, he was happy to fight Blade and die by Blade, basically. So,
Pun intended.
it was the best of the three and a great way to actually end the trilogy and showing that Blade was still out there doing his thing, so forth and so on. And that's why mine's better than Batman, because Batman would lose to Blade.
So last 2 seconds, tell him why 2 was the best one of them.
And 2 suck. All right, that is it for me.
2 was the best one. So after 10 minutes, what you got?
Let me know when you're ready. Take
Only
a
what
deep
I
breath.
got from the first 2 movies I watched.
I mean, start with that.
All right, let me know when you're ready so I can start it.
Okay.
No,
Well, I got Captain America.
he started.
Oh, did you already call it?
Go ahead.
Dang, dude.
No, like right when you started talking, I was like, so stop the clock.
I'm getting cheated. Anyways,
Yeah.
I got Captain America. The reason why I think his trilogy is the best because he was the first Avenger.
For victory.
Hell yeah, dude. Anyways, and he would, even though he got his powers from a little bottle, not a little bottle, from like a bottle that they say, or was it really a bottle? I don't remember.
Keep going. Keep going.
No,
Anyway,
yeah.
Anyway, I'm trying to talk, so I don't got 5 minutes in me.
I mean, you can talk for 3 minutes and just sit there and stare at the camera intently, like. "Talk for me. Talk for me."
Anyways,
Subliminals.
in the first one, I know he got his super strength. He got all this stuff to where he has super fast healing. He got super strength now. He could apparently never get drunk now because of that stuff. That was the funniest part I've ever seen.
I forgot about that.
His,
Yeah. Forgot about that too. Until
enhanced metabolism is
Yeah.
what allows him to heal really fast,
Yeah.
run fast, and just strength. All right.
Thanks for helping.
No problem. You
Anyways,
just like last time.
I know kind of like Batman, he's really good at strategic improvises and whatnot, and even though he was in World War... Oh, why are you shaking your head?
I'm just letting the audience know.
It's alright because it's not played.
So, what did you like about the character?
Stalling is going good.
What do you like about the
mean-
character?
Well, I mean, I liked how he's loyal to all his comrades and whatnot. He tried protecting. Then when he got that new shield, he pretty much came unstoppable with it, in my opinion. Because when he throws that thing, it's like a boomerang. It bounces off everybody, just comes back to him, and just goes ham.
I don't understand that.
It's
didn't
actually they not in the movie, but they do kind of explain it, like the way his mind works. Yeah.
No, I mean, the first shield he had wasn't around though.
Yeah, it was a.
It was the one he had where he was reading the thing off of it, and that would become right too. Shield slash.
Anyways.
It looks like a badge. Shield badge.
I was a little confused about that when I first seen it.
And if
Charging star.
I remember correctly, it was kind of unbreakable. If I remember right, I don't know. I know it could take bullets, it could take like swords and everything, like because he could bounce off walls and take explosions and.
Really?
Yeah, man.
It's crazy.
Are you gonna get to that second movie anytime soon?
Yeah, give me a second. When it gets to like 4 minutes, I'll be there.
Wow, you need to talk as much as possible. You're going the wrong way about this. You
Okay,
stall. Go ahead.
So,
Anyways,
keep going.
alright. But, alright, to the second one, when after Bucky dies and all that stuff, and the second one, Bucky comes out as Winter Soldier and he finds out about him. I know his first thought was to protect him from everybody else because he didn't want his best friend from the World War II to get killed, even though he got brainwashed and into a destructible one-armed monster. No, I know, but then his robot arm and stuff like that. Mechanical.
His Colossus arm.
Yes.
His cable arm.
That stood up to Captain America, which is alright.
Yeah, he's stronger than Cap.
I didn't know that.
Quiet as his Cap.
There goes my information.
Okay. No, they don't say that. Well, they show it when he threw the shield back. He had to catch it with two hands.
Oh
and slid all the way back.
yeah.
What the hell?
Yeah.
Yeah. He just
That's
caught
why.
it.
Side note, I was glad they showed when Spider-Man caught his left hand with one fist and was like,
That's my favorite part. Anyways,
move.
but I know he ended up betraying his comrades just to, not really betray, but kind of went rogue on him just to protect Bucky because, they're best friends and he knew he was innocent and got brainwashed and whatnot.
Stronger loyalty because he's known him long. That's like literally his one from doing.
And I know them two together, they're pretty unstoppable, I think.
Definitely.
In my opinion.
Smashed out.
Alright, Blade.
No,
Let's
Smashed out Iron Man.
Alright, Daywalker.
My arm out.
Okay,
Down.
without his arm, he's alright. I mean, you guys can help me out.
So, what about that last movie?
Yeah.
Civil War?
Yeah.
I haven't seen it.
What's wrong with you?
Oh no!
The only thing I remember for that was Spider-Man whipping his shield out of his hands.
Yeah.
Hey, it's been 5 minutes yet.
Nope. You got 10 seconds.
He's better than Tony Stark.
Ooh. That just destroyed all of the Iron Man trilogy.
I mean,
too bad nobody got it.
I know, right? It's still sitting over there. Glad nobody got that
Sitting
one.
over there sad, having PTSD.
I just had to get that out there.
I'm glad.
I do not like Tony Stark for some reason.
Really?
Yeah.
To be real,
I don't know
about
why.
this entire situation,
Mr. I
this
rely on
was
suit.
this was up in the air because we didn't know if we were gonna get Jose he was a little unprepared. We had discussed it beforehand, but I am so glad I didn't get that Iron Man though.
Me too.
Well, to be honest with you, it's kind of like the same thing when it comes to this Blade situation and Iron Man, and it's kind of the same thing when it comes to Captain America and Blade and Iron Man.
I would have been terrible with all these guys.
They all had a useless movie.
Oh yeah.
Character development aside, you basically spend Captain America's beginning of his movie, him as a scrawny, weak guy with a lot of heart. Then he becomes the big, strong guy, the soldier we need, and then he spends most of that touring around saying speeches. Until you get a montage of them going to these Germany spots, which it was just a montage.
He got frozen, right?
Yeah,
At the end.
at the end he did. Then you get a montage of him going to these Germany spots with the crew that he had, stopping things. And then it came down to him running into Red Skull, and that's basically kind of it. That's kind of bad. Blade's second movie is completely useless. The virus going rampant, killing vampires, but it wanted to kill humans too. It really had no type of
Which movie was it where it
consequence.
was like that thing was?
Yeah,
it looked like Predator.
that's the second one.
That's the second one.
It was completely useless. The other vampires it wasn't even mentioned in the third Blade movie. You know what I'm saying?
They got in a hold of it. It's under control. It's like smallpox. You don't talk about smallpox anymore unless referring to it that it doesn't get talked about anymore. Measles, it's gone.
And the coolest thing was about Blade is they didn't spend a whole lot of time on character development in the first movie. It was kind of just
But back
cemented
then,
he was Blade.
It was more about action. Especially with an obscure character like Blade. Blade is tight, but not a lot of people know about it. That's why it took 10, 15 years for people to even realize that was Blade from Marvel. 'Cause
Right.
It had nothing to do, it didn't mention it anywhere.
Well-
You have the comic flipping Nothing.
Well, no, it had the beginning of it, but I just think it didn't link up with people's minds. That.
That's what I'm
that
saying.
was-
Like it wasn't. If it's not the comic book flipping saying Marvel, then people like even if it's a Marvel character, they're not gonna know
Yeah.
unless they know.
They're not gonna think.
Like
about
not
it.
everybody. If you say, hey, you remember Blade? That's a Marvel movie. Huh? Really? It's gonna be a reaction. Unless they know, like, duh.
But anyways, you guys get down in the comment section. Let us know
It ruined
who did you
the
like
first
the
episode.
best. I know it's between me and Phil. You probably don't like how he did Captain America.
I don't like
Make
how
a
he
better
did it.
case for Captain America for Jose if need be.
Yeah,
I'm
somebody type in the comments and give him a little hand and tag him in it or something. I don't know. How does that?
help him out.
Give him a hand.
I'm
Oh, yeah.
Nixon,
Give him
Phil,
a,
Jose,
oh,
and
that's
we're
cute.
out of here.
That was